Free Navy veteran Joe Robertson page, or go to John Lamb or Lindsay Brewster's page, and the links are all there.
We'll be sharing them, yes.
Right, should we do it like they do? I'm like, hey, get up against the
Right?
wall! Get out! Get on the ground, you terrorist!
Right? Oh no! Don't resist.
So, this your first time, Lindsay?
This is my first time ever having cuffs on in my entire life.
Congratulations.
Oh, you're such a law bud. Do you really want this band on that whole
Oh,
time?
probably not. No.
It might be the first time for me. I don't remember if I ever have.
Oh, that's tight.
I think I was
Do you want to take off?
No, I don't.
The first thing that happens is your
Thought
fingers
of that
slip.
before you tried to straighten out this broken government.
Let's try. I don't want to pinch you, so let's get you in there reasonably as comfortable as you can. How's that feel?
Good.
Okay, now lock them so that they don't tighten up further.
I didn't know you meant him. Yep.
Yes, Echo, we can post Jake Ryan's link again. What's Jake Ryan's link?
No, this is not for Jake. This
Well, no,
is for
someone
Joe.
was just asking.
PayPal.me/Jake Ryan.
Okay. But this is for Joe. This is all for Joe, guys.
Joe Robertson.
Okay.
This is a great
Get on the ground!
guy.
Get on the ground in the cell! Okay, you ready? You're both going in?
Yep.
Maureen, you've never been handcuffed
Now,
before?
if I was actually a cop, I'd just throw her on the ground too, because her age
Yeah.
wouldn't matter to me. I'd just be
Right.
like, get on the ground, old woman!
You're like, okay.
Did I just call you old
Yes,
woman?
you
I didn't
did.
mean
You
that.
called me an old woman.
You're not an old woman. You're just older than me. And I'm 32, so I figure you must be, what, 36?
You're right.
The things I say sometimes.
Facebook page, free.
Yeah, I'm going to push this back
Vet Joe
touch.
Robertson.
Maybe we can get you guys all in there so you can all shout at each other. There we go.
Hi,
Oh, look at that, 3 people. Now you can all see each other.
They can't even see each
Hey,
other in there,
We've
right?
also got Eric Parker's wife coming over yet tonight.
Oh, we got an
So,
audience out here.
she'll be here anytime. Oh, there they are right here. They're already here. Let's come over here and we'll look at Lysander Spooner University.
Where's Lysander Spooner guy? I saw your video today for the first time.
All right.
I love Lysander Spooner.
Okay, so we got 3 guys in here. Okay, so I'll share this out there. You girls should explain what's happening and what you're doing and what's going on and take the narrative here. What's with the, are we supposed to do something with the pom-poms? Are you preparing for later? Okay, right on. So I'll let you take it away and talk to the people. Wait a minute, we need some shout outs. You know what, let me share this a little bit.
Three that are on here, please invite your friends and
Okay,
share.
guys, we're fixing to go off of here, and this phone's going to go dead anyway. Go over to Free Navy Vet Joe Robertson page. You can find the link off of mine here too. And as you see again here, we've got a lot of people out here coming out here, just joining us around. Back to California.
Southern California, checking in, Camp Liberty.
We got my van parked right here for some lights. It's hard to see it.
I think you can probably turn that off now because I can crank this up as much as we need, so you don't have to leave your van there the whole time. Although it can't hurt having it parked somewhere nearby for wind.
So okay, guys, go to the other page, Navy.
Free Navy veteran Joe
John, why don't you just tell them you'll
Robertson.
share it and they can just refresh your page?
That's right. So I'm barely awake here. So good night, everyone. Have a good night. Go to the other page, and we're still on there. Have a good night, and we'll be back tomorrow on my page. But go over to the other page here. Have a good night.
The other thing, the other guy that I really think promote
My phone's at 1%.
That's pushing it, John.
I brought those. The lot. Yeah.
1%. You can plug in. We got lots of power.
It's been getting so hot. I was letting it cool down. I don't know what
Hey, you know what? What worked up for mine is this new one. It was hot and it was fritzing out when I first went to the cell. And so I just took it to the back of the truck to the water tank and just dunked it in there and shook it around in the cold water and it cooled it right off because it's waterproof. And so I just I sunk it. I wouldn't try it unless you find out first.
Where you put it in the cooler where there's ice.
What?
Don't let it
No,
get
I'm
wet.
serious. Yeah, no, it cooled it off immediately by just putting it in the water. If you could
We're on
if we didn't
there.
need sound, we could live stream from water. Okay, so John, did you share
Put
that?
this out of the way.
Yes.
Go to sleep, John.
Good night, John. Good night, John.
He'll probably be up for another hour.
All right, so we got about
Answering something.
Yeah, I'm still working on copying. Trying to copy some notes here. I can go back to the computer and do that.
If you're on the live stream, how's the sound? Can you guys
You gotta
hear
feed
us
her
okay?
breakfast.
I can't read it.
They got lights up here too.
Here, I can bring it a little closer.
Yeah, there's always lights in the
Get you
jail
all in there.
24/7.
Is there?
Yep, always on.
And that's why Ammon got in trouble for putting his.
All right, so we do have handcuffs on, guys.
And it wouldn't have been a problem, but his other two shirts were in the luggage.
We got our pom-poms.
And we got our pom-poms, because what do we want?
Freedom.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Freedom.
When do we want it?
Now.
So you could transfer, can't you?
Well, it's a long story. Yeah. You really don't want
I don't think you are. I think you need a lot more cruising.
That share there.
Okay.
And
Good.
well, I'm still sharing.
You ever been to
I'm trying to make you rich and famous here.
No, I can
Because
share
don't you
it.
know, in the Patriot community, it's all about, we're just always getting rich off our grit.
Right, all right.
I can share this on Jake's page, right? So you can invite people.
Except people are starting to go on there. It is late
No,
though.
but you can't.
Do I have access? I don't know. I don't think I'm on Jake's page, so I don't think I can share it. Who are you? You'd have to have one of the admins on Jake's page share it, which I might be. I don't really know, honestly, because people are always adding to pages. But
You're on my page, aren't you?
But you haven't seen his.
yeah, I'm not on Jake's page.
Hard to read those, huh?
I'm supposed to computer dev. I don't know.
Yeah, you got kind of small print
All
there,
right,
but
so real quick, can Gavin grab the sign behind him of Joe Robertson so people can see what he looks like? Yep.
Here, I'll hold it, Gavin.
there's Joe.
So that's Joe Robertson. He's a 78-year-old Navy veteran from Basin, Montana.
Here, I'll hold it there while you talk and I share. I'm a multitasker.
And Joe is sitting in federal prison in Colorado right now for putting stock ponds on his property with the proper state permits. We're learning about property rights, and Joe had mining claims and got permits and put some stock ponds on his land, and he widened a road for the fire truck to get through to mitigate fire.
Used to be the courthouse. That was
The Forest Service in that area was not being safe. They were letting fires burn longer,
That's the post you heard about it.
and Joe didn't like that. Joe's a man of honor and integrity, so he decided to write complaint letters about the Forest Service not being safe. So that led to the EPA targeting Joe, and they went after him. And they used the Waters of the United States and the Clean Water Act, their section 404, to put a 78-year-old Navy veteran in federal prison. The problem with section 404 is stock ponds are exempt. So that's issue number one that we have. A pro bono report was done by an environmental consulting firm, Kegel Environmental, that claimed and saw Joe did not violate section 404. He did not harm the environment. He did not put pollutants or dredge materials in any U.S. waterways. Joe improved the environment. Joe and his wife volunteered with the fire department, and Joe drove the truck, and Carrie fought the fires for over a decade. They love their community, they love their neighbor. They also let veterans from their vet group who suffer from PTSD like Joe does come on the property to hike, hunt, fish, camp, and relax. And Joe's first trial was a hung jury or mistrial, and they went after Joe again. So he had a second trial where he was convicted. About May last year, about a year ago, I heard of a older man going to prison for up to 15 years for ponds. And that shocked my conscience. So we rallied America, and people from all over the country went to Joe Robertson's sentencing hearing. And many other people heard of his story, and we started getting it out. The judge ended up giving him 18 months in federal prison and $130,000 in fines. They took him away right there in handcuffs. They separated him from his service dog, Sasha. And most of the people that are standing out here with me today also were there when this happened. Joe was in a county jail, and his first night there, he had chest pains and had to go to a hospital. Then his second night, things got a little bit better, but the problem is when you go into the prison system, they don't give you your medicine that you normally have. They don't provide good medical care like Joe's VA did. They then moved him to Shelby, Montana, to another prison where Joe suffered what we think is a possible stroke. He had double vision and he wasn't doing very well. So a state senator arranged for a family friend to go see Joe and check on him. The warden of that prison did try to do the right thing and set Joe up with a doctor appointment and arrange the visit. Before Joe could see a doctor to see if he suffered a stroke, at this time he was 77, they decided to move him, the Bureau of Prisons, a federal agency, to here, CCA, Core Civics, Pahrump, Nevada. Joe shared a cell with Cliven Bundy and Todd Engel for under 2 days. Joe was honored to meet Cliven Bundy. These men are honorable and they stand for freedom and property rights, and they stand for your grandchildren. Then they decided to move Joe to Oklahoma City for a few weeks. Then he landed 15 minutes away from my house in FCI Inglewood in Littleton, Colorado. We were sad he was so far away from his precious wife, Carrie, but we were happy that someone like me and many others in Colorado lived close by. So we immediately started figuring out how to get on a visitor list, how to get money on his books, and we started doing prayer rallies across the street with flyers and flags and signs. We tried hard working with the Senator Cory Gardner for quite a few weeks to get Joe medical care, because we still don't know to this day if he's had a stroke or not. Cory Gardner's office gave up on us, and the prison labeled me a security threat for using my First Amendment. So Joe had no visitors. We only had phone calls and mail, and he was getting by. He met a lot of great people in this prison with him. Then he called me on Wednesday, November 2nd at night. Said, "Lindsay, I think I had another stroke. I passed out in my counselor's office. I think they're trying to kill me." And that might sound kind of shocking and bold that the prison is trying to kill him, but you have an older person passing out, going to medical. They did not do any blood work. They did not give him any medicine. They did not take him to a doctor. The person on duty, from our understanding, was the medical unit manager. They handed this man, a Navy vet, a cane and made him walk down 3 flights of stairs after possibly having a stroke or even a heart attack. We still don't know. Joe was weak. He was scared. And I immediately called the sheriff of Jefferson County in Colorado, and I said, we need a well check done. This prison is abusing a 77-year-old man. He needs medical care now. That sheriff deputy had to get permission to even talk to us. They did do a sheriff report. They would not let us talk to the sheriff directly, and they basically said we don't have jurisdiction. Aren't you guys sick of hearing we don't have jurisdiction?
Yes.
So the next morning, I was on the phone with Senator Cory Gardner's office and Joe's wife, Carrie, and we were trying to get him much-needed medical care right away. So when Joe called me, not knowing it was against the prison's rules on 3-way calls at the time, we're panicked, you guys. We're thinking Joe's going to die. I merged Joe into this phone call, and he talked to Cory Gardner's staff member, Ryan Hansen. And we came up with a plan to get some more privacy forms filled out, which I don't know why a piece of paper matters more than a man's life. Then Joe went to go get a box of legal mail to get these privacy forms mailed out. And his counselor took it from him, and he said, "It's legal mail, I need to be present." And she said, "No, you don't." Miss L. Breezy, his counselor, when he went to go get his box back, it was missing very important paperwork like powers of attorney. We still don't know whatever happened to that privacy form. That counselor decided, well, Joe had a disagreement with her. She decided to throw a 77-year-old Navy veteran in solitary confinement a day after possibly having a stroke. Told him he was going to be in there for 30 days. We didn't hear from him and we were getting scared. So we kept working with Senator Cory Gardner's staff. This is when they decided to give up on us because the executive assistant of the warden basically said, well, that Lindsay that wants to see him is a security threat. She's across the street. She took a picture. We have a First Amendment. I took the exact same pictures that our local news station, Fox 31, took of Joe and the prison. So, on Veterans Day, the counselor had a softened heart, which we had prayed for. And she let Joe out of solitary. But when he got out and he was able to call us, he told me the story of being put in a 4x4 cell. This is a 3x3 cell, but Joe was in a 4x4 holding cell. And he had a weak spell. And the guards were kicking the metal door until he jolted and laughed and joked and said he was faking it. And said, oh, he moved, he's fine. And they left him in there for many, many hours. That's when Joe compared these prisons to concentration camps. He compared them to Nazi Germany. After that, they went back to that phone call we had the day after the possible stroke and punished Joe and gave him 4 months and no phone calls and limited commissary. He only could buy shampoo, hygiene, and stamps. This is when Joe was losing way more weight. Joe has lost 60 pounds now since July 2016 when he first went into custody. These 4 months were very hard because we could only communicate through snail mail. And all Joe's legal mail comes to my house, and I can tell you that they interfere with it. They don't get things to him on time. They don't get things mailed to my house. The Senator Cory Gardner gave up on us. We contacted Congressman Ken Buck. He did send a letter to the warden, and the warden did a canned reply that Joe is getting the community standard type care. We talked to the regional office of the Bureau of Prisons in Kansas, and the medical lady basically told me everything I was telling her was a lie and that she had his medical records, but they couldn't disclose anything. We had resent out the power of attorney paperwork for medical and legal and property and all those different powers of attorney that you can do. And we got those signed and notarized and mailed for Carrie and Joe, and Joe put me as secondary on the medical. The response from the prison that the prison was the one who had to deem him incompetent to follow the medical power of attorney. And we were trying to get medical records, and it was rough. Elected officials gave up on us. We heard crickets after that. They ignored us. Then our ex-congressman Tom Tancredo got involved. One of our people in Colorado called him and said, we need your help, Tom. Tom started getting us on AM radio shows and on Fox 31, and we all don't like mainstream media because they lie normally, but they called us friends and family of Joe Robertson. He's in prison for putting dirt in a creek, supposedly. He's possibly having medical abuse, but the narrative that made me very happy was they didn't call me anti-government. They didn't call me militia crazy person. They didn't call me right-wing extremist. They said friends and family of Joe are concerned. All we want is our government back within the confines of our Constitution. I got word that on one of these AM radio shows on Jimmy Lakely's show that the prison heard me on the radio. And they stood up and they were so excited because this radio show I was talking about multiple cases of prison abuse that I had learned through Joe. There was a gentleman who had an abscessed tooth and they threw him in solitary and within 3 days he died from an abscessed tooth. Another gentleman, they have a pill line outside, and sometimes you have to stand outside in that pill line, and Colorado can get cold. And this man had a heart attack, and the staff ran over with a defibrillator, and it wasn't charged, so he died. I can tell you, even where I work, we have defibrillators, and we have people trained on how to use them, and they're supposed to be tested and charged and ready. So when you have a federal prison at Joe's place, there's over 1,000 people, and you have staff with the defibrillators not charged and staff not handling emergencies well, that's pretty scary, because that could be your grandpa, that could be your dad, that could be you one day. Another man had liver problems, and he literally threw up his liver and was bedridden in his cell, and he died. The horror stories of solitary confinement and what that does to people, it's flat out abuse. We need to end solitary confinement altogether. Jake Ryan's mom is standing next to me, and the Ryan family and John Lamb did go to some of Joe's court stuff. They are from Montana like Joe, and we've all become this big family. And I'll let Mama Ryan speak for a minute of why she's in here with me.
I'm in here because I love Joe. We went to his sentencing there in Montana, and it was a kangaroo court to the fullest. The prosecutors stood up and turned around and pointed at us sitting in the audience, and they said, we cannot let Joe go because he associates with these people who have been down to the Malheur Refuge. And because of that, they would not release Joe even for a little bit of time to go home, say goodbye, take care of stuff, and whatever he needed to do. They took him straight from there. And I'm here to support Lindsay. There is so much corruption, people. There is so much corruption in our prisons. There are people out there that don't have anybody. Joe has been so blessed to have Lindsay there for him. And I commend Lindsay for her dedication and her love. But there are thousands of people out there who have nobody. Nobody to stand for them. And so we need to stand for all men and all women who are being persecuted. And many of them have not even been tried or convicted. And the rest of them, there's so many that are convicted on bogus charges, and there's no crime, and yet they sit and rot in prison. And this is wrong. This is wrong to be happening in our nation. And so I'm here to support Lindsay. And I ask you, and I know so many of you have given, and I ask those who haven't to reach deep and to give in behalf of Joe, and to support what's going on, and to support these patriots in any way that you can. Writing a letter, like I've said, a letter means a world to these people. And so many prisoners never even get a letter. There's one here that we had a couple, a dear sister and her little girls came to support this Camp Liberty, and she went up to visit him. And it was the first visit he had had the whole time he had been in prison. And that little girl, her little daughter, laughed and sang this inmate a song. And it meant the world to this man. And he said it was the first time he had heard a little girl laugh in so long. And so there's prisons in every town, whether it's county, state, federal. And our Creator has asked us to love our neighbor. So go visit them, write them, and support Joe and the others like Joe. And so I would like to start this off. I give my $100 in support of Joe. And so let's follow suit, guys. I know money's tight, but we all can give a little bit.
So what we're doing for this is Joe's wife, Carrie Robertson, had some extra expenses with car repairs, and her wood-burning stove broke. And they live up in the mountains, very simple, so a wood burning stove is a big deal. So we're asking that you, maybe Wendy, I see you on there, can you find that bonfire campaign for the t-shirts and post that link in the comments? It is at the top of this video. It's also on that page. Yeah. We're cuffed, we can't grab it.
Did you want to read it?
But we would like you to buy a t-shirt, and what it'll do is, one, it'll help Carrie Robertson. The t-shirts say Stop Prison Abuse. And number two, it's going to help John Lamb's vision of a nationwide protest all across the country at a prisoner jail in your community, which will be the Independence Day, 4th of July this year. So, thank you. Yep, so there's the, you got to go a little bit more that way. So they get it.
Oh, okay.
So there's a picture of Joe with the service dog Sasha. There's the links. I guess we could read it off real quick. Or you guys can put it in the comments for me, please. So it's a bonfire campaign. So it's www.bonfire.com/carriescampaign-1 or -1. There's also a GoFundMe on this page that you're watching on if you want to do a one-time donation. If you go to the profile picture, all the links are there. Real quick, can you show the address? We do encourage mail for these guys. It means the world to Joe that he has people from America and even our Sylvia in Canada writing him from all over the country. I guess my big mission of why we're standing out here in Pahrump, Nevada, in the middle of the desert. Last May, we heard a story of Ammon and Ryan Bundy being chained to a bench during transport and missing meals and basically being abused. And Lavoy Finnecum's niece, Jessica, is one of my closest friends, and she lives in Colorado with me. And we decided the next weekend that we would come to Nevada and hold some prayer rallies and protest and do jail visits. And we came out here a year ago, and the trip was guided by God. He told us what we needed to do. Most people are simple like me, and you can get out of your comfort zone and do what you're called to do. Your role in this matters. Whether you write letters, you donate money, you go stand in your community, you show up to events like this, you talk to a person at a grocery store, all of it matters. Oh, it's okay. You can itch on me. And that was a little bit over a year ago that we first came out here. And then I felt the same spirit talking to me to go to Portland and support the guys up in Portland. The first hearing I ever attended was Jake Ryan's pretrial release hearing, where he got granted pretrial release. And you got to show up in court and witness, and you got to write notes. We need to expose what's going on in these courtrooms, because it's flat out evil and wrong. And the only way we're going to battle this evil is if good people come stand, show up in court. And this doesn't have to be just the political prisoners that most of us know about. This could be done in your community. You can find a handful of people like I have at my amazing Colorado team that helped me drive out here for this trip. We might only have 5 of us outside in prayer for Joe, or we might only have a few of us talking to a congressman or doing something. But the quality of the people matter more than the quantity. And you just got to find it in your heart to take some time out of your day to care for these people. My grandfather passed away when I was 9. I haven't really had a grandfather. I have an amazing father, an amazing mother and sister, and a beautiful daughter. And something about Joe touched my heart, and for Joe to land 15 minutes from my house, that's God's work.
And we can tell you about the courts, but it's not the same. You need to be there for yourself. And like Lindsay said, you don't have to go to Portland to the federal court. Go to a court within your town. There's people that are in court all the time. Go there and learn and stand for your neighbor that's going to trial in your own county. Be aware of what's going on with your neighbors and stand for them. And you'll learn. You will learn for yourself about the corruptness in these courts. And it's important that you learn for yourself. We can tell you, but like I said, it's not the same.
Right.
It's just not.
So Eric's over here, and he's gonna try and beat the girls, and do 14 hours. Is that what you're saying?
Just 13
I want to do the
hours and 10 minutes.
13. I don't know exactly what Roxanne did. I know she did a little over
Okay.
13.
And I guess so. So
I was
since,
disappointed in the guys. A little bit.
since
Girls are pretty strong.
yeah, you're strong too. Since this is on the Joe's page, the reason why you're here in 13 hours is Ammon Bundy, the guards, because of a shirt, handcuffed him like this in a 3x3 shower and left him there for 13 hours with no food, water, or restroom.
They also had his feet in shackles. Not
And
just
his
hands.
shoulders were messed up real bad. They put him in solitary, and he sits there as we speak. So we pray for Ammon Bundy for speaking out about this prison abuse. At the end of the phone call he had, which you can listen to on the Bundy Ranch page, he said, "If not for me, do this for everybody else." And that's exactly what Joe Robertson has done in the Bureau of Prison, federal prison that he's in Colorado. I get mail and phone calls from other prisoners' families or the prisoners themselves telling me about their abuse that they've had. And many of them have been in there many years. And I did hear a story of one lady who I met in a line outside when I first thought I could see Joe, and I just kept going back and checking, like in October last year. And I kind of heard her and her husband's story. That wonderful lady, she came out here and stood with these people at Camp Liberty. And when Joe called the other night, he said, I heard about that Camp Liberty. It's going around from many people. Other family members calling in to their loved ones, or people who are diesel therapied all over the country and landed in the prison in Colorado. It's giving these prisoners hope. It means the world to me when you hear them yell back and all you hear is hope and love. This is not just about the political prisoners we know about. This is about all the fellow Americans being abused in all these jails and prisons. Where Eric's from, he's closer to where they have the Hammond family. Eric, you want to talk about the Hammonds for a minute?
Sure. It's amazing. You can learn so much on the internet we have today. I mean, I know there's good and bad, but the truth, it gives you different feelings. They give you good feelings. They give you uplifting feelings. It speaks for itself. The false narrative is always wishy-washy and changes. I did my own research about the Hammonds. I started looking at all this back in January 2nd of 2016 when Ammon and the others went to the refuge. I heard about it driving home from Utah on an AM radio station. And same way, most of these people out here are touched by the Spirit. You know, the Lord works in miraculous ways. And I had to research it the next day. I had to know what was going on. And I stayed up all night researching, listening to Ammon, listening to others. And the Spirit was strong. I knew what they were doing was correct. Some of it might seem hard or harsh or different, but you know what? When the Spirit tells you it's right, it's right. And I read some of the documents and the things same things that Ammon researched to find out about the Hammond family, and I knew they were true.
I'm gonna go back to the trailer and do some updates on that.
Why can't you protect your own land and your property? I mean, especially when it's been done for who knows how long with the fires. We can educate ourselves so easily. It's the information age. Yes, there's true and false, but it's all out there to be had. It doesn't take very long to find it. And again, you can feel the difference in the truth.
Amen.
And so I've been following this ever since. My wife kind of teased me. It was like clockwork. I get home and I had to get on Facebook and check the different sites like Bundy Ranch and some of the other credible sites that would give me the right, proper information as opposed to the fake news that weren't going to give me the right information. And so it really hit me even harder once they killed our wonderful patriot, Lavoy Finicum. Never met the man, but I could feel the spirit of the man. You can feel the spirit of any of these people out here. It's part of who we are. You can tell who they are by just looking in their eyes. You can listen to their story. You know, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all children of God. Whatever your religious background is, we're here together. We're here to love one another and see each other as that. And so that's why I'm here. I know that our people that are in this prison shouldn't be here. There might be some that legitimately did something wrong and should be there, but they're not being treated correctly. This isn't right. I met a gentleman tonight that has shared much, and it's touched my heart. I'm thankful that he's shared that with me. It's given me more strength to be in here tonight.
Thank you, Eric. I think of Ammon. He talked about the love we need for each other. Someone asked Ammon if he would tell the name of the guards that did what they did to him. And he wouldn't. You know why he wouldn't? Because he feared for them. He was worried about them. And I think that's what we're missing in our nation this day, is that true, genuine love for another human being. Because like I said, we are humans first. We are all humans, given a heart and a mind. We all have two hands. And like Ammon, so worried about the guards who had just abused him, we need to learn to love our neighbor, to forgive our neighbor, and to realize that we all make mistakes, guys. We're all different, and that's what makes the world go round. Nobody does anything like you do it. And that's good, because that's what makes us all special. That's what makes the world worth living. Can you imagine if we all did everything the same way? If we all felt the same way? How boring life would be? Out of my 13 kids, there's not one of them that's the same. Each one of them are individuals with their own feelings, their own way of doing things, and that's the way that our Creator meant it to be. And so let's not pick at each other. Let's not condemn each other because we do something different than somebody else. But let's use that creativity and that great thing that everybody has, because everybody has something to offer. I don't care who you are. And let's pray for the guards. Let's pray for those that are harming our fellow Americans, that something will touch their hearts and turn it around, that they will no longer do what they do. And those in the Patriot group, squabbles aren't worth it, guys. No. We need to be together. We need to remember that we have one goal, one priority. And it doesn't matter if someone leads, let them lead if they do a good job. That's great. I don't want to be a leader if there's a better leader. I want to do what I can do wherever I'm at. And be in a spot in whatever I do, I wanted to do it my best. But I don't want to take somebody else's spot.
It's all about teamwork, and the big goal is we have a huge, giant, abusive government. I'll say it again. We are not anti-government. Can you guys yell that with me real quick? We are not anti-government. We are pro-Constitution.
We just want the government back within the boundaries that the Constitution set for it, so that our nation can heal.
And you learn of these stories of the Hammonds and the Bundy Ranch in 2014 and the Joe Robertson, and there's a man on the East Coast in Kentucky named Sam. He's an Amish farmer, and he made natural chickweed salves. And the FDA went after him, and he has sentencing in June. So if you're in Kentucky, I would follow up with Sam the Amish farmer. Just Google Sam Amish farmer chickweed. and I would attend his sentencing hearing because I had the same calling that I did when I heard about Joe Robertson and the ponds. That's not right. For Mother Earth, who gave us water?
Our Creator.
Who gave us chickweed to make salves to feel better?
Our Creator.
So why do we have people in prison for something that's natural and okay to do?
There's a farmer that just got sued $2.8 million for plowing his field. And the comment was, if we do not condemn this man, all farmers will think they can plow their fields without a permit. Guys, this is real life. This is not a joke. This is a farmer in California.
Wow.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah.
There's ranchers, dear old ranchers. I've talked to so many ranchers that are in their 80s, 83, 79, who have been fighting for their life, their livelihood for 41 years. And they're tired and they're worn out.
Is Roger still here?
Roger.
So Roger has helped us with Joe Robertson and many of the people that we are aware of. And I just want to thank Roger for what he's helped with Joe. When I have a question and I really don't know who to turn to, I call Roger and he helps. So thank you, Roger.
Roger has helped many, many people, let me tell you.
Many people. So this is all about teamwork, you guys, and it's all about getting the truth out there. That's what's going to win this. So we're doing the t-shirt campaign for Carrie Robertson. The link is in the comments and at the top of this video. You buy a t-shirt, it says Stop Prison Abuse. We're going to wear those shirts nationwide at a jail or prison in your town on the Independence Day of our country, 4th of July. And we are basically standing against prison abuse, prisons for profit, and the big one, restoring our Constitution. Eric is raising for the AmmonBundyDefense.com. The legal team who got the not guilty in the first trial in Oregon is the same legal team that they are raising funds for. And this legal team is basically raising funds for basic things like housing and food. And they're not charging us the $1 million that they're worth. So we've done a great job with this Camp Liberty and having people come in here and raise money to help that defense team for Ammon Bundy, and they represent Ammon Bundy, but just like the first trial in Oregon, they're going to also help the other people going to trial.
And we're in here for Joe.
And we're in here for Joe Robertson. Carrie had told them that she made t-shirts to help with car repairs, and she did a campaign, and she just said, I'm going to just do Stop Prison Abuse. And Joe was like, do not put my face on a t-shirt, Lindsay. Do not let Carrie put my face on a t-shirt. But, you know, people like Joe Robertson and Lavoy and many of our men across the street here, I guess with Joe, what really, he's so strong, you guys. He served in the Navy twice. Joe Robertson is a Vietnam vet. He stood again for us when he was complaining about the Forest Service not being safe because he was worried about his neighbors. And then he didn't want to plead guilty to these trumped up charges like most people do because they're scared and they're bullied into plea deals. Because he didn't want to set a precedent so other landowners could get railroaded and abused, or property owners. And then he goes to this, he gets moved around all over the country. He's abused, he's possibly had 2 strokes, he's lost 60 pounds, he's got double vision, a little bit of comprehension stuff. Both of his knees are blown out, and it took me going on the AM radio show and many great people across the nation calling the prison and bombarding them to get him a 4-wheel walker that he had a doctor note for. Both his knees are bone on bone. He's going to have them replaced when he gets out. He's got a herniated disc in his back. He's had so many medical problems that most older people, my mother did hospice for my grandma, and me and my sister would go help my mom. And I had back surgery 2 years ago, so I almost think God put us through that so that I could empathize with Joe. I couldn't imagine having a herniated disc and having to be in a prison and not being able to get medical care, and then knees blown out and all these other issues. And just having that compassion. You have compassion for your family, right? Your grandma, your grandpa, your mom, your dad, especially your children. So just because you don't know somebody or they're across the country, you still should have that compassion when you hear about the abuses. And you hear about people getting railroaded by a system that is only going to change when we the people change it.
And it's really interesting. You say, but I don't know these people. How do I learn to love them? You learn to love them by doing small acts. As you do small acts for people, you learn to love them. You truly have a feeling of love for them. And that comes from serving your fellow men.
Yeah. Yeah. So t-shirt campaign for Joe and Carrie Robertson. The goal is to get about 500 shirts sold. The campaign runs for 13 more days, so if you're not able to do it tonight with paydays and things, you know, because the government likes to take all our money in taxes, so we know times are rough. Definitely get a shirt and plan a 4th of July Independence Day march on prison abuse and Constitution and wear that shirt proudly. We're going to have some other shirts made. John Lamb's going to that say restore the Constitution. You reach a bigger group of people when you broaden your message. And I think this whole year has just taught us. Our founding fathers gave us tools that we need to use. We're the fourth branch of the government, and we need to use those tools as the people. Then Eric over here, AmmonBundyDefense.com for the defense team. And again, that's Ammon Bundy's defense team, which got the not guilty in Oregon, and they can win again in Nevada. Get involved in your community. Can somebody go on that t-shirt campaign and see how many we've sold? And maybe if anyone has Morgan's, we can text and see the PayPal. But I guess this is kind of a really, really long commercial for t-shirts and the defense team. So if we could just share it the next few days, a couple times a day, then people can buy a shirt. They can donate to the defense team. I will give all of you guys advice. When we first started all this, we tried to help all the people we learned about. And that was very hard to keep up with a small group of people or yourself. So if you find the person like I have with Joe, he's like an adopted grandpa to me. Carrie is like a sister, and you focus on that one person. Maybe one day, each person being abused will have that one person as support and voice. And like Mama Ryan said, it's small things, writing a letter, talking to someone in Home Depot, standing outside with a flag, and if you're able to go get visits done, I'm really big on the visit thing because I want nothing more than to be able to go support Joe and visit him weekly and help him because I am so close to him, and other Colorado people could go too. But they won't let anybody in to see him.
24 sold, Lindsay.
24? Okay, so we're at 23, so all this time we've only sold one shirt. Okay. 23?
Did you say 23?
No, it said 24.
24? Okay, so this is a really long commercial. We need you guys to share this and share the t-shirt campaign. Start advertising the 4th of July march. I'll work with John and everybody and Kelly and Gavin and everybody here, and we'll just start really pushing that and get those shirts sold. Trying to think what, but the visitor thing, I would love nothing more than to go in and really see Joe and support him. His friend did come from Montana to see him, and he does have a sister coming in June to see him who got authorized on the list. But none of us have been able to get in because they just, I don't know. They don't like us using our voice in We the People media in the First Amendment. And I'm not great at the first of being media and reporting. I stumble on my words. I don't really care. I'm getting the message out. And you guys should also pick up your cameras and find a story in your community and go stand outside a facility. And I mean, they're hostage centers. We literally have concentration camps in America. Joe lost to 60 pounds because he didn't have his commissary to get the extra calories for that 4 months because they punished him. And then when his knees were bad, he was living off of the commissary because he couldn't go the quarter mile to the meal room. And just imagine you in there having to go through all this stuff. Imagine your grandpa. There's a lot of veterans in these prisons, and someone who served our country, and they're in there for a long time without a trial. I mean, we could go on and on and on about speedy trial and being held without bail or bond and the violations that we have going on right now, and it is important to understand that. But the only way it's going to change is if we start showing up in those courtrooms and we witness, we pick up our camera and we start speaking to people about what's going on. Okay, so I cannot read these comments. Can someone just check and see if the link to the t-shirt got in there okay, maybe?
Yeah, it's hard to read. It's
I
far
can't
away.
see. I don't have the nice like white screen that you can see. Awesome. Maybe we could borrow her glasses and then we could see.
I know. Blind and toothless is what I am.
Anything?
Can you see with my glasses?
No, probably not.
Right, what do you, okay,
We
what
just
do
want to see the t-shirt
yeah, wait a minute, I
campaign
forgot.
link in there.
She's trying to hand.
I forgot you had handcuffs on. The t-shirt link. I don't see, I just see,
Okay, thank you. I can see Wendy because I know her pretty
okay,
face.
Wendy Smith.
Yep.
Is that the website that
Yep.
it's
So
at?
it's
Bonfire?
bonfire.com, the
Yeah.
Terry Robertson
Yeah.
t-shirt campaign.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't know how long this has been. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. And we'll use this as a commercial. So I would like to challenge everybody to copy the link to this video and share it once a day for the next 13 days and help get these t-shirts sold to help raise awareness about what's going on to your neighbor, your fellow American, raise money for the defense team. And I will say, if you don't think other families that we know of are getting enough money or donations or support, maybe reach out to them. Every one of these political prisoners should kind of have that extra voice. Jake has an amazing mom who kind of does that for him. I help Carrie and Joe, and Eric over here helps the Hammonds. I see mostly the Hammond stuff on your page. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah, I need to do more though. We all need to do more.
yeah, we all
So
need to do
I'll
more.
pick up the
And
pace.
don't shame people for trying and doing things. Always lift them up. And if you don't like how something's being done or you think someone's not getting enough attention, then you step up and be that voice and be that spokesperson. God will guide you. And trust me, my first live stream, I was sweating. I was nervous. I still stumble over my words. But that's okay because that's me. And I'm a mom. And we're going to say it again. We are not anti-government. We are moms and dads of America telling our federal government, who is absolutely abusive and out of control, to go back within the confines of the Constitution. Don't label me something that we are not. And stop watching the mainstream media. Switch over to John Lamb, Kelly Stewart, Gavin Syme, this page. What are some other alternative pages that are really good? Dennis Michael Lynch is pretty good. Who else?
Radio station coast to coast.
Your local radio stations, yeah? Yep.
Northwest Liberty News.
Yeah, Northwest Liberty. Oh, Range Magazine?
Yes,
Range Magazine. And for education, because we're all about educating too, there's so many resources out there for education. And you may think you know your Constitution, but I still have to pick it up and read it and check on things, and it's good to refresh your memory on it. And
Chris Hall is really good for that, I think.
Chris Ann Hall.
for
We love
the
Chris Ann Hall.
Constitution.
Chris Ann Hall does talk about the Hammonds. She does talk about Joe. She did a really great radio show. I would
She does
definitely
a radio
suggest.
show like every day.
Yeah, she did one about Joe, and she really explained the legal side so people like me could understand it. And she also did that with the Hammonds and the Bundys and the Amish farmer Sam. I think she might have done one on him, or she's going to. There's also some gentlemen in, where was that, Kansas? There was a Second Amendment deal, and they're raising awareness about that. And these trials in Nevada, they broke them up into 3 tiers. The first group is getting retried starting mid-July. The second group gets pushed out, and the third group gets pushed out. So if you can come to Vegas for opening arguments, closing arguments,
trial itself.
Trial itself, jury selection. It's really important why the defense is going that we have the presence of the people in that courtroom. You use your vacation for that kind of stuff.
I want to put a plug in for Range Magazine.
Yeah.
If you want to know what's going on in the western states and what's going on with the land grabs and understand the stories of these so many ranchers and farmers, there is so much in these Range magazines that are so good. They tell the stories of these people and they explain the overreach of these agencies so that you can understand it. You can understand the legal side of it and what our rights really are. And it's just an awesome magazine. So I really would invite you to read these and to study it. They're really good.
Want to close with anything, Eric? Eric is going to try to do the 14 hours to beat the girls.
Go, Eric.
Go, Eric.
Go, Eric.
I'm pretty sure I can do it.
I think I
Spirit
can see
over
it in your
body.
eye. You can do it. Yep.
Mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
Exactly. Exactly. There's just been so many amazing people that we've met this whole year. It's this nationwide family of love, and we just love liberty, and we love our God, and whether you believe in a creator or God, that spirit is what drives us to do the right thing. And, you know, people complicate things, and people want to debate. You know, you hear about, like, politicians debating, and at the end of the day, is something right or is it wrong? Was there a victim? Is there a crime? If there's no victim, there's no crime. And just compassion and love for your neighbor and your fellow man, and understand that it could be you. Oh, I know who I need to talk about, and I'm probably going to cry. Joshua Martinez, buddy. We were supposed to get a picture tomorrow. I love you, bro. Joshua's a young man who has the gift of speaking and teaching and educating and understanding the philosophy of freedom and liberty. And he went to court for a traffic deal. To sum it up, he questioned the judge. She threw him in contempt. The court brought him back, said, "You need to apologize," and he stood his ground. He said, "No, I didn't do anything wrong." Not like that, but he stood his ground and did not want to apologize for standing up for the Constitution and his natural rights.
And simply asking a question about his case.
So if you've gotten a speeding ticket, or you've gotten a driver's licensing, or you've gotten I don't know, all the traffic violations, they make money off of us, and you go to court and you ask the judge a question, you can be thrown in contempt of court. If you don't think it can happen to you, it's going to one day. So Josh now is in for 15 days for contempt of court.
No bail.
No bail. That is kidnapping in my eyes. And you know, these people have not been convicted of a crime across the street, and they're waiting for trial. The pre-trial detainees, David Fry, I love you too, you taught me this. David Fry taught me when you have pre-trial detainees, the rules and policies, I'm so tired of rules, policy, and procedure. And that goes back to pieces of paper mattering more than a man's life. I just don't understand that. But what was I saying?
Rules, policies.
Oh, rules, policies, procedures. I forgot. What was it? There's something else. Oh, pretrial detainees. So when they're writing these guys up on pink slips or taking their commissary away, which has happened across the street here, or putting them in solitary confinement, or doing excessive strip searches, or taking away their law library time, or punishing them, or any of that. When you're a pre-trial detainee, you are not guilty of anything. That detention center or that county jail's job is to do three things: feed you, give you somewhere to sleep, and get you to court. It's not meant for you not to have a speedy trial and sit in jail for almost 1.5 years now. And some people we've learned haven't had trial for up to 5 to 7 years. They're pre-trial detainees. Our founding fathers made it very clear in the 8th Amendment that cruel and unusual punishment would not be inflicted. And you have the right to bail and not excessive fines. I mean, you have, the Hammonds were fined over $400,000. Joe was fined over $130,000. Do you want to talk a little bit about what they found with Jake's?
Jake's charge for digging the trenches is $75,000. $75,000, guys, to refill a trench.
I'll backfill it for 40.
Yeah, that was 0.24 acres in total acreage of the trenches.
Yeah.
A lot of trenches.
So when I, in about a year, I'm planning on purchasing a home and a little bit of property. I'm going to dig a trench and I'm going to name it Jake Ryan. And I'm going to dig a pond and I'm going to name it Joe. And I will not get a permit and I will not comply with that because that's my property and I'm not damaging anything. So anyway, with Joshua Martinez, let's just pray for him. We need to try and hold that judge accountable for doing that, thinking that they had the authority to do that. And
Just because the judge is having a bad day.
right, wake up on the wrong side of the bed and then you're going to throw a bunch of people in prison where they just sit there and make money off of you. I guess the other thing we could talk about is, after researching all this, a lot of prisons do the cheap labor. You know, and I understand like having a cook or someone, you know, maybe do laundry and, you know, some things like that. But there's companies out there, let me see if I can remember most of them, who literally hire, what is it?
Unicor.
Unicor?
It's the biggest federal factory. It's at every federal facility. It's at every BOP facility. They have a Unicor factory. They make the BDUs for the military. They make the uniforms for the Border Patrol. They make the desks that go in all those federal buildings.
That's, I call the prisons a lot, and I always hear the option for Unicor, so that makes sense.
Unicor.
Thank you. Okay. So this one article I was reading, they were saying that some of the jeans that are made for like JCPenney's and Kmart are prison labor, and these people make 90 cents to $4 a day. Now, if you're convicted of a crime, you know, that might be one thing. And let's say you don't have people that put money on your books, and that's the way that you maybe earn some money to get some money on your books to get stuff. But people that are pretrial detainees should not be subjected to slave labor, period. McDonald's and Wendy's, some states they have them process some of the meat and packaging. There was a goat farm that's pretty popular with goat cheese. I cannot remember the name of it. I'll make sure we share the article because it was shocking that they basically have all these guys working on this goat farm for everything, and it's slave labor, you guys. Starbucks, their holiday cups, that is prison labor. What was the other ones that were just like, wow? Wendy's,
Start boycotting
McDonald's.
all these companies.
Start boycotting them. I mean,
Vote with your dollar.
you have all these people who need jobs, right? I mean, in your community that aren't in prison, and they're getting cheap stuff done that way. Oh, they have some prisons that take all the little tags with the UPC code off the Walmart stuff when they redo computers or resell stuff, and they have them glue the new ones on. So Walmart was another one. And the private prisons are absolutely scary with the stock. You can buy stock in private prisons. That's really shocking to me because of course they want the beds full, and you know, there's a debate about, you know, in prison abuse, stop prison abuse, and then a bold sign was made that said human trafficking. Well, if you look up the definition of human trafficking, part of that is forced labor. And if you have people not charged with a crime and you're forcing them to work, and then you're also transporting them on buses all over, the diesel therapy thing that we're learning about, that is human trafficking by definition. So it's time to get bold with your voice and make that sign and do what we did today. We went outside in the town of Pahrump and we were out in front of a McDonald's. And We had flags upside down, and many people don't understand that. And a year ago, I would have probably said, yeah, that's disrespectful. But after I've educated myself and learned how bad our country is, that upside down flag is absolutely 100% acceptable right now, because we have Nazi Germany here on American soil. We have concentration camps. We have human trafficking going on. We have your brothers and your sisters and your fellow Americans being abused horribly right on your soil, and like here in the middle of the desert.
We're allowing it to happen.
And
Right
we are
out your
allowing
back door.
this to
Yeah, some of
happen.
these people live right here. They don't even know what's going on.
We have families where children are abducted all
Yep.
over the place.
Yep.
Abducted by the government.
Yeah, CPS, we'll do a little shout out for Baby Holmes family. Baby Holmes family didn't want a birth certificate, social security number, complete overreach and reaction, and they stole that baby from his mom when he was under 30 hours old. So that's another money-making deal is CPS, Child Protective Services. I mean,
And we're not saying that everybody is bad.
Yeah.
There are many good people who have taken children in that needed to be taken in. But there are many families who have been ripped apart under some false accusation, or because they homeschooled, or because they wanted to raise their children the way they wanted to raise them. And that's not what it should be about, guys.
Amen.
If you know a family that's struggling, and in your mind you think that parent's not treating that child the way you think they ought to, then knock at their door. See if you can help them.
Communicate. Yes.
Take them a loaf of bread. Say, hey, can I help you? You know, there are so many families who struggle every day just to survive. The stress of trying to maintain a family, it's not easy. It's not easy to feed 13 kids. And so instead of turning them in or doing something like that, go see if you can help them. Say to the mom, hey, I'll watch your kids for a day. Just go relax. Just go do something for yourself. Be there instead of tearing them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we spent more time on focusing on the good and the greatness in people, as opposed to trying to see how fast we can hate them and find them in fault of something, everybody would be so much happier. I mean, it's ridiculous why everyone wants to prove that someone's doing something wrong. And no one ever knows the full story of that person's life, what they're going through, and what's the better outcome. You love them. Like you said, you share. You say, can I help? They're going to notice that that's you really care, if you really do, and it's going to be a different outcome.
Turn all the negatives into a positive. We got made fun of in the beginning of this for having pom-poms, or being called pom-pom patriots, like we were just cheerleaders for, freedom. And many of these pom-pom patriots, we got a rah-rah. Ready? Rah-rah. Many of these pom-pom patriots do a lot of stuff off of Facebook, so you guys' stuff does live off of Facebook. So my point of that is get out in your community and pass out flyers. Email a list of people that you might have that are not on Facebook, and just start talking to people. There's a gentleman, 10 feet from me, who we met today. We told him what was going on, and he showed up, and he was in this place for 3 years.
3 years.
And he came and joined us. You reach that one more person, that's what this is about at the end of the day. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this one. So let's get the really long commercial about freedom, liberty, and Joe Robertson, and all the stuff going on. The Hammonds, everybody, start sharing it every day. Let's get these T-shirts sold, and then also donate to the Eric. You can plug it.
The Bundy Defense Fund.
AmmonBundyDefense.com. Yep. So I think we're gonna get out, and I see Miss Parker over here, and I really want to give her a big hug. We have the same purse. She's got the mini one, and I got the big one. It's really cool.
Wait. I heard you talking about the companies.
Oh, do you have them?
I did. I did a speech with the Lysander Spooner University on prisons, the new slavery.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for this? Bank of America Bayer, Caterpillar, Chevron, Chrysler, Costco, John Deere, Exxon Mobil. This is the list of companies that use prison labor.
Okay.
Andrea,
Johnson and Johnson,
come over close so would they make sure and hear you.
Kmart, Cox Industries, McDonald's, Merrick, Microsoft, Motorola, Nintendo. Think about that, Nintendo. Piltzfer, Procter and Gamble. I don't know some of these. Pepsi, Shell, Starbucks. Do you drink Starbucks? Go to a local coffee company. No more Starbucks. UPS, Verizon, and Walmart and Wendy's. Now, Victoria's Secret also does this. They have women's prisons. They take tags off. They take the Made in China tags off and put Made in America tags on.
way.
Wow.
Companies all over America do this. Look into this. Don't just take our word for it. Do the research yourself. You can always see the companies that do this. It has to be on the up and up. Why would they not do this? If you can pay the person 20 cents an hour, you do not have. Not only are you saving on the wages. Think about this. You're saving on unemployment. You're saving on taxes. You're you're saving on all of these things. You don't have to have health insurance. You don't have to give vacation time. You have the perfect employee because they have nothing else to do. If they don't show up, they don't get that time off of their sentence. This is another way that they make money. Oh, we'll give you time off your sentence. This, what is it? Probably equals 20 cents an hour to get them out of there. And why wouldn't they? So this needs to stop. This corporate prison system is an atrocity, and it needs to stop.
And this is on the Joe Robertson page, and this is Eric Parker's wife. And Eric Parker is in the prison across the street here. And Andrea's been doing the courtroom reporting and standing by her husband and all of us and helping get the word out. So thank you, Andrea. We love you. All right.
He is a true patriot, believe me.
Yes.
Andrea's got.
He was the only one to take the stand in the first trial, and he did amazing.
It's amazing what you can find just looking it up. It's right there.
Yeah.
So easy.
Google is
It
our
tells you
friend.
everything.
When you Google Camp Liberty, our signs show up.
Nice.
And we have an address, 1776 East Mesquite Avenue. And we got mail today.
Yeah, we got a flag kite
A flag kite and a plate.
and a plate.
Really awesome.
It was awesome.
So, all right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. Eric's gonna stay in and beat the girls, so let's cheer him on. Let's get some money raised on AmmonBundyDefense.com. Maybe donate $5 there, $1 there, and then buy a T-shirt, and then you're helping too. And then when we do the Independence Day, 4th of July, restore the Constitution, no more prison abuse, which you can do in your community. We all can have shirts that kind of match what we're talking about. And then John Lamb's going to get those Restore the Constitution shirts made up. So I wear my shirts a lot, and that sparks conversations when you're out in public. I had a lady at Walgreens comment on my Lavoie Constitution shirt, and she's going to come to the 4th of July thing. I gave her my email. So that reach that one more person, guys. We love you. Take care. God bless. Maybe we should end with a prayer. Does anyone want to do a prayer for us? And then we'll get out. Okay.
Our dear gracious Father in heaven, we are so grateful to be here, Father. We are so grateful for this beautiful night. We are grateful for the things which Thou hast given us. We are grateful for each other and for the bond of friendship that we feel in the fight for freedom and liberty. Father, we are grateful for great men who have stood for liberty, have stood for the truth, and have stood for brotherhood and love in this nation. We ask you to be with our men in the prison across the road, that Thou wilt be with all of them, Father, that Thou will give them warmth tonight, Thou will give them peace of mind, and that Thou will give them dreams that will fill their night with a peaceful sleep. Father, we are grateful for the knowledge that we have of Thee. We are grateful for the ability we have to repent and to change. Please help us to love our neighbor as Thou hast loved us. We are so grateful again, Father, for the many, many, many blessings that we have. We ask that You be with the people, that they may find it in their hearts to share, that they may share with their neighbor, share with those in need, and help us to spread this new spirit of liberty across our nation. Help them to stand. Help them to let go of the things that they are comfortable in, to turn the TV off, to get out of their comfort zone and learn and grow and no longer be ignorant to the things that make things right. We pray that Thou will bless us in here tonight, that we may be able to stand without too much pain, and that Thou wilt again bless our families, bless our loved ones. And Father, we know that Thou art there, and we know that Thou hast given us this land, but only if we can keep it. Help us to keep it. Help us to keep it free, that it may truly be home of the brave and land of the free. And we say these things, Father, in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Don't be afraid, America. Have courage. That's what we're lacking in this country, is courage. Take care, guys. All right, anyone got the key? Oh, there's the key. So, hold on. Andrea, are you going to go in tonight?
I am going to go in tonight.
Okay, so it's going to be on Andrea Parker's page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll man the camera for her, and you guys can learn more about Eric Parker. Be awesome. Okay.
All right. Take you out first.
Well, this is a short stay. Unless you really want to stay in longer.
Wow, you got the good bars.
Right?
Yeah.
What kind of bars are on the shower?
Actually, it's
Like a steel door.
it's a cage, yeah. It's a
Solid
metal
door?
grate with very little holes.
Oh.
That's okay. We made a really good commercial. Thanks, guys.
I've never even taken these off before yet.
No? How do you do that?
He said you have to turn them both ways or
not
something.
doing
You
well
have
over
to
here.
unlock.
I put them on, but I didn't take them off.
John Lamb was saying you have to turn it one way and then the other way to unlock it. Because they lock twice.
Oh. Oops, unlocked. Oh, yeah, did Gavin not lock them all the way? I tell you, the second and third time's worse.
Really?
I know. Poppy's good too, right? You look like you got some sun.
Poor
You always
leg.
put them up with the keyhole up. Never with the keyhole down.
Oh, did you put them on the wrong way?
Gavin.
Yeah, because it's harder to get to them, huh?
Yeah.
I get it. Who's, I could sign the. Yeah, you sign it.
I have not
Oh, I
signed
didn't
yet.
Sign the bench. We should all
We should all sign the bench on the live stream.
Yeah, let's do it.
I can't sign it now.
Well, then you might be able to.
No, I had him in there with me, Miss 13 hours the other night. He's going to be Mr. 14 hours. That's going to be your new nickname. I'm going to make you a shirt.
14 hours.
I did mine in purple and mine painted.
Even if it's 13 and a half, right?
Right. All right, guys, go to Andrea Parker's page, please. Whoa, that light is bright.
Yeah, it is.
Andrea Parker's page. We're going to start this over again. Let me get... I'll put her name in the comments. Hang on.
Is that better, Lindsay?
Huh?
Is that better? So that light's not going on?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's just because I bent down.
It's kind of stiff, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, comment this way.
Yeah, those restrict your movements a lot more. Those are hinged.
Before you go in, you have to
They're
sign.
like
Okay.
regular.
With the little chains in
So,
them?
yeah, with the little chains. Those are a lot more restrictive. Is that what
They
you're
got the
wearing?
chain, yeah, the same one.
You have to remember that. Get the less restrictive handcuffs.
Yeah, get regular handcuffs. Those are hinged cuffs. Those are like higher security cuffs.
All right, guys. Andrea Parker's name is in here. I'll also share it on this Joe Robertson page, so you can go back to this page and find the new live stream we're going to start.
Yes. You're supposed to double lock any of them.
Have courage.